In this slidecast, we're going to look at what is project management. So first of all, let's look at what is a project. You'll recall this from previous slidecasts. A temporary endeavour undertaken to create a unique product or service. So temporary means definite beginning and end. There's a start, you walk on site, start doing the work, and there's a finish when you finish the work. Endeavour is something you do. Unique means it's never been done before. So all engineering projects, no one's ever built that particular structure in that particular place at that particular time. Product or service. A product is a physical object, so a road, a building, a pipeline, they are physical objects. A service is something you do for someone. So for example, if we're providing a set of design drawings, that's providing a product, but we might be project managing the project as well, so that would be providing a service. So if there's nothing physical that comes out of it, but you're still doing something for someone, then that's a service. Now the product or services that we deliver to the client, so for example we deliver a road when we've constructed it, or we deliver a building or a set of design drawings, those are called deliverables, the things that you deliver to the client. So let's look at what is project management. Now the definition of projects I had before came from this thing called the Project Management Body of Knowledge. Now this is put out by a group called the Project Management Institute, and they are a professional organisation of project managers. It sets out how to do project management in a lot of detail in a very structured form. It goes a little bit over the top for what we want for engineering, but it is still a very good reference. So if you're looking for more information about project management, this is a good place to go. So they talk about the application of knowledge, skills and tools, techniques to project activities to meet the project requirements. So applying all these and making the project happen, making it come in on time, on budget, to the right quality. Wikipedia provides probably a better definition. Planning, organising, securing, managing, leading, controlling. Notice those are all the words we looked at before regarding to management. So in this case, management is just project management is just a subset of management. Project management is just a different way, it's just one way of management. So those are all those management words. And controlling the resources to achieve the specific goals. The goals are our project objectives, what we want to achieve. We want to do it on time, we want to do it on budget, we want to do it safely, we want to do it to the required quality. So I think that Wikipedia one gives you a better idea of what project management's all about. So let's look at how, let's work on these a little bit more, bring them together. So these two statements are making it happen, and the project requirements, project goals, are achieving the objectives. So another way of saying it is making the project happen to achieve the project objectives. So let's look at a few definitions that are used in project management. So we've got an activity. An activity is a discrete unit of work, of something you actually do. So for example, if you were producing a set of drawings, sitting down and producing a drawing is an activity. Now a process is a series of activities bringing about a result. So if you were designing a bridge, say, one activity would be doing geotechnical investigations. Another activity might be doing compiling those investigations into a report. So this activity here is doing the investigations, this activity here is putting it into a report. So that's a process. The inputs would be what information you've got going into the process. So for example, if we're talking about our geotechnical investigation, it might be that the input was a brief from the client saying, this is what I want you to investigate, these are the things I want you to find out about. That's what the inputs would be. And there might be several inputs. They might also give you a map of the area, which is another input. You might also have a geotechnical map of the area, which is another input. So there's often quite a few inputs into a process. And what you produce at the end of it is an output. So it might be that your output was a geotechnical report. So that's the output. So this might be part of a larger project, which is to do a design. So at the same time as you're doing your processes, your geotechnical processes, someone else might be doing their surveying and producing a topo plan. So their input would be the brief from the client. They'd go out and investigate the site, they'd do the surveying, they'd compile it into a topo map. So all those activities string together and the output would be the topo maps. Then that would go into another process. They would become, the geotechnical report and the topo map would become inputs into another process, which is, let's say, doing the design of whatever it is you're designing. So there'd be looking at the reports, one activity, doing calculations and producing a design report. So you can see that a whole lot of processes all string together to form a project. And as we mentioned before, the outputs usually at the end is the deliverable, what you're delivering to the client. Now, engineering projects have a lot of things that need to be managed. So PMBOK calls them knowledge areas. So engineering projects usually deliver a product. They have many activities, so you've got to be able to identify everything that needs to be done to produce your deliverable. That's called scope management. It also has specific deliverables. You know that what is the purpose of the project. It might be a road. So there are specific things about that road that you need to make sure happen. Quality management. So you're making sure it's fit for purpose. That if you're building it as per the requirements, making sure it happens. You've got limited time, so you need to manage the time. You need to plan what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, and you need to manage it. So that's time management. Another knowledge area is cost management. You've got limited money, you've got a budget. You need to keep an eye on that budget as it goes through and make sure that you bring the project to completion within the required budget. You've got many people on an engineering project and you have to manage them. So that's called human resources management. You require external materials or services. For example, if you were building a road, you might need a specialist outfit to do the sealing of the road because you don't have the right machinery. So you need to procure them. So that's procurement management. There's a high level of uncertainty in an engineering project. So we've got to identify the risks, then we've got to manage them. We've got to figure out what we're going to do about those risks to try to reduce the chance of them happening and or reduce the consequences if they do happen. It can be dangerous. So you need to do health and safety management on site. It can affect the environment, so you need to protect the environment. That's environmental management, making sure that silt and stuff, for example, doesn't go into a stream. There are usually lots of stakeholders. There are people within your team. There is the designer, there's the contractor, there's the client, and then you need communications within them. But there are also other people that are interested, for example, the neighbours, the local iwi group, the local council. They all need to be communicated with. So you need communications management. And you need to coordinate everything, which is integration management. So each one of these knowledge areas are like a set of skills, a set of things that the project manager has to do to manage the project through. So it's not a matter of just saying I'm a project manager. You're a project manager who does all of these different types of management to be able to bring the project in on time and budget and to the right quality. So what we're going to look at this week is scope management and time management. Later on in the week after that, we're going to be looking at procurement management, and we're also going to be looking at quality and cost management as we go through. When you do project management principles, you'll be learning about the rest of these. And the last thing I want you to remember about projects is that a big project is usually composed of a whole lot of smaller projects. So the processes we're talking about are the processes that go on for every one of these projects. Remember, there's the main project, which is the client's big project. Within that there'll be consultants projects, there will be contractors projects. So they all go together, they all string together to form the main project. So in the next slide cast, we're going to look at the process that we undertake in every one of these little sub-projects and sub-projects.